Besides Warren Peper and Brendan Clark, there's only one other person in Charleston who's made a great transition from sports to news, and that's Dean Stevens. And in this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with him one-on-one. Well, you know, Dean, I've known you since I've been coming around here since the late 90s.
That's right.
And, you know, I haven't seen you since last year when I was at work at T-Bones.
Absolutely.
Tell me, how are you?
I am fantastic. I'm doing real well. Come to work every day from about 3 to midnight and take care of 3 boys and lovely wife at home. So it's a busy schedule.
And speaking of here, you've, I've done my calculation, and you've been here for 23 years.
I started here in July of 1990.
Wow.
July of 1990. So
I know this is a silly question, but did you think you would stay here this long?
how long has it been now?
23 years.
No, maybe 24, you know. I don't know. I've had a good time doing what I've done and being a sports guy for a long time.
That's right.
And then I kind of morphed into news, and everything has just kind of fallen into place. So
Yes.
I always enjoyed being 10 minutes from work and 10 minutes from the beach, and there's not a lot of markets you can go do that.
That is so true.
Isn't that
And
right?
that is right. And you mentioned this earlier, but before becoming the news anchor, you were actually the sports director here.
I was. I came here as the weekend sports guy back in 1990, and I did that for about 4 years. And then I was the sports director for about 8 years there. So a little bit of everything. But, doing sports was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You covered Atlanta Braves, the golf. Tell me, what event sticks out in your mind?
Well, covering the Braves during their championship runs and their World Series, those were great events. And then, to be able to go to the Daytona 500 and just kind of sit down on the track as those cars went flying by you at 200 miles an hour, those are kind of events you never forget.
Yes. And, besides Warren Peper, I know that you...
Sorry.
No.
This is a joke.
I know. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Besides Warren Peper, you're the only one in Charleston who can actually deliver the sports in a unique way. Tell me, where did that skill come from?
Well, Warren really taught. No, I don't know. Sports is just sports is one of those things you just kind of sit back and talk about.
Yes.
Like you're sitting in a bar.
Yeah.
I don't go to bars. Do you go to bars?
No.
Yeah. See, so like sitting back at church, just talking.
Yes.
Talking about sports.
Yeah.
So that's the hard thing to do about news. Can you sit back and talk about news like we do with sports?
Yeah.
Right? Difficult to do.
Well, you can only do it.
Well, that's very kind of you to say.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, let's talk about your time here at Channel 4. I know, as you mentioned, you started here in 1990. Tell me, what was so attractive about Channel 4 in Charleston that made you come here?
Well, I had a friend of mine that I was working at a small station out in West Texas, and my friend had come to work here, and then the weekend sports job opened up, which was held by David Lloyd.
That's right.
And David had left and went to Sacramento, and so that job had opened up. The sports director at the time, Steve Bartlestein, had just left.
Yes.
You know Steve?
I know Steve.
Yeah. So Steve had left, and then so there was 2 open chairs. So they hired a sports director, and then there was a weekend spot open. And my friend Heather said, "You've got to come out here. This is a great place." I had never been to South Carolina. I had never been to Charleston. So I jumped in my car and made the long drive from Texas all the way to Charleston.
And let's talk about your friend Steve Bartlestein. How have you guys been able to maintain your friendship for all these years?
It's been difficult. No, it's not really.
Oh,
It's fine,
Okay.
You got old friends, don't you?
Yeah,
You just keep in touch.
Yes.
He's in town. I should get a hold. You should do this with him.
I would love to. Someone told me he was someplace else, and I'm like, well,
He's in Portland, Oregon, living now, but he's working to become an umpire. But he's in town.
Yes. Let's talk about your time here. You worked with several anchors here in Charleston. Tell me, what one has been your favorite and why?
See, Dave Williams is one of my favorites because he's sitting 15 feet from me.
That's right.
My other favorite anchor would probably have to be Victoria. She would be my all-time favorite anchor.
Yes, and speaking of her,
because I currently work with her.
That's right.
Right.
And she came here in 2006. Tell me, what was it like her coming back here?
It was like an old friend coming back to town. She and I have been close for a long time. We worked together back in the early '90s, so it was nice to have her back. Now, could you imagine if I was sitting here and you asked me that question, I said somebody else's name, and then she saw this and heard this? It would be ugly up here, wouldn't it?
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
But I got to do my job.
But it's true. It's the right answer. The only answer.
Yes. And isn't it true that KTXS in Abilene, Texas,
Yes,
was your first TV job?
that is very true. Yeah,
What was that
Abilene,
like?
Texas is in West Texas. About 90,000 people live there.
Wow.
It's like it's out in the middle of Nowheresville.
Yes.
Tumbleweeds kind of roll through the streets. It was a fantastic place to work. It had a lot of sports teams there, a lot of 3 colleges, so we were always covering sports. It was a great market to start, and then there was an Air Force base there, so there's some similarities between Charleston and Abilene. It was kind of surprising.
And a lot of people don't know this, but this Texas is home for you.
I grew up in Houston. I still have some family there. My mom was there, and my sister's there, and I've got a brother and lots of nieces and nephews, and so yeah.
That is awesome.
But this is really home.
Yeah, you've been here for so long.
I know, you pointed that out, right? 23 years. Why do you think I've been here so long? Let me ask you a question. Why have I been here so long? I think it may be because I'm so bad I can't get another job. Is that right, Q?
I don't know. He's putting me on the spot. Oh, God.
No, you forgot the answer. The answer is I like being 10 minutes from work and 10 minutes from the ocean.
Yeah, well, I got to repeat that. But let's talk about you at the time at the University of Texas.
Oh, why?
Who was Dean Stevens as a college student?
Who was he?
Yeah.
Oh, he was very adventurous, very curious.
Yeah.
He was adventurous and curious as a student.
And I heard that, let's say, Westchester High School was where you went for high school?
I did, in Houston, Texas.
That's right.
Absolutely, I did. And Westchester's famous for David Clyde, who was a baseball pitcher that went to the Texas Rangers right out of high school back in the 70s. He graduated high school in May, and he was pitching in the major leagues that summer.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Now, since you have switched over to news, I know that you have done a lot of in-depth reporting, and you've gotten exclusive interviews. I know that there was one person who's already passed that you had a great relationship with, General Tom, that is.
Oh, yeah, General Mick, Tom McLychek was an amazing man. He helped run the Air Force Base here and also in Germany, and then he came down with, was diagnosed with ALS, and really, even with the disease, worked and made substantial changes to the way people who have ALS in the military, how their benefits are handed out. So, yeah, he was a remarkable man, absolutely.
And
did you ever meet him?
Actually, I did when I was a production assistant here in 2005. He came to the studio and I saw him.
Yeah, fantastic man.
Yeah, and you were one of the last people to actually interview former Mount Pleasant Mayor Harry Holman, that is. Yeah,
Harry, I enjoyed the mayor's company quite a bit. We went to church together, and when he was sick there towards the end, we had gone out, and he loved to go out and take rides in a convertible. So some friends of mine over at Rick Hendrick BMW got us a convertible BMW, and I took him around town. We took a drive through his town.
Oh, that was good.
And still friends with his wife, Brooke.
Right, that's right.
Have you ever met her?
Never. I've seen her on Facebook and whatnot.
You should do one of these with her. She's phenomenal.
That's
She's
a
a great lady.
I bet she is.
Write that down.
Yes. Describe to me the following in one word. Sports.
Carefree.
Yeah. Texas.
Wide open.
Mount Pleasant.
Home.
Channel 4.
Home away from home.
Yes. And I'm going to get you on this one. Dean DeLong Champs.
Some guy I used to know. My alter ego.
That's right. Yeah. And besides that, what is something that people don't know about you?
What do they not know about me? I'm a big wrestling fan. Yeah, my kids and I, we go see WWE, and you like wrestling?
A little bit.
You do? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan.
I bet you are.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about family. I know that you have been married to your wife, Caroline, for some time now.
Yeah, for some time. Let's see, we were married in 1994.
Wow.
So how long is that? Almost 19 years, I'll help you with that. 19 years, almost 19 years.
Calculations.
Yeah, you got to know that.
That's right.
Once you get married, you got to know.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, tell me, how did you guys become in love?
How did we become in love? I met her at the College of Charleston, and it was love at first sight, I suppose, right?
Yes. And together you guys have 3 kids.
We have 3 together, and just 3. And Jack is the oldest; he's 16, and then Charlie is 10, and then Sam is 8.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, put on your memory hat for me and tell me what has been the most favorite moment for you here at Channel 4?
Oh, out of 23 years, favorite moment? Moving into this building was a big deal. Our old building was over by Sullivan's Island, and it was almost washed away by Hugo. So, it was a good thing to move into this building. I've worked with some great people, and still have a lot of friends who used to work here.
That's right.
Have good friends who work here currently.
That's right.
I think it's impossible to say my one favorite moment.
Yes. And, I can't let you go without me asking you about your future. Well, when you look into your crystal ball, what do you see in your future?
Let's look. Well, I'd just like to keep working here and keep, serving the public and telling great stories and Help my friend Dave Williams with the weather.
Yeah.
Because Dave knows what I really want to be when I grow up.
Yeah. A weather guy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, Dean Stevens, was so great talking to you.
Nice to see you, Q.
Thank you,
Congratulations on your success.